everyone, my name is Rebecca Keppel and I'm here for Therm O Web today, and I have 3 different projects that you can create that are Valentine's gifts using iCraft adhesives. So the first project that we're going to work on is this little pencil holder card, and we're going to use the Therm O Web iCraft Deco Foil pen adhesive. I have 2 pieces of pattern paper that we're going to layer. They both have these cuts in them. I used my Cameo to cut those, and then I have some pink melon foil transfer sheets. So I'm going to take the iCraft Deco Foil pen adhesive and just shake it up, and then push the tip down onto a scratch piece of paper just to make sure the adhesive is flowing, as it is. And then I'm going to just trace around the edge of my scalloped heart. Now I'm working on paper here, so it was sticking a little bit. So I did grab a nonstick mat, and that works a lot better. So I would recommend using one of those if you're using the pen on the edge of your project. So I'm going to just continue around, and anywhere that I place adhesive with the pen, I will be able to foil. So now I have that one done, and I'm just going to do the same exact thing, only I'm going to do a straight edge on the regular heart here. So I'm just, again, making sure that the adhesive is flowing, but it is. It doesn't have to come out a ton. Really, just less is more with this, and you'll see when you're up close, you can see that the adhesive is coming out. Okay, then once the adhesive is dry, and you'll know it's dry because it won't be cloudy anymore, it will be clear. It only takes about a minute or 2 for the pen. It's pretty thin. I'm going to add the foil, and I'm going to do this with my die cut machine. So I have both pieces of pattern paper, and then I have the pink melon transfer sheet, and I'm just going to lay that on top. My sandwich is a typical wafer thin die sandwich. I'm going to put the cutting plate on top and run it through my Sizzix machine, and this is going to adhere the foil down to the adhesive pen markings that we made on the pattern paper. And you can see when I lift up the foil there, I've already got this heart is really pretty. I love that edge. And then check out the scallop too. So this is a really quick and easy way to add foiling, which adds such a nice touch to a handmade gift. So now we're going to take this and put it all together. I read on Karina Gardner's website, she's the one that designed this cut file, that it's easiest to insert the pencil first and then adhere the hearts together. Otherwise, you might get it a little off center and then it won't look as good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the pencil through both the little openings there, and once that's done, I'm going to grab my Therm O Web Memory Runner XL and just adhere the 2 hearts together. And this is super easy, super quick, and look at that. This would be great for a classmate Valentine or for a teacher. So I wanted to bump it up a notch, so I cut out from the iCraft foam adhesive a love sentiment from the Queen & Co. dies from the Heartthrob kit. And now I'm going to take a watercolor foil, and what I'm going to do first is, because the pencil card is not a flat surface, I'm going to remove the top protective layer of the foil first, and I'm going to foil this little foam adhesive sentiment, and then I'm going to remove the backing and lay it on the card. Otherwise, you won't really get a good application. I'm just using the pad of my finger here, not my nail. You're not scratching it, you're just burnishing it, which just means rubbing it into the foam there. So when you peel back the foam, you reveal that the foil has indeed adhered to your foam die cut there. It's a little sticky sometimes. I find some are stickier than others. Now I can remove the backing, and then I can lay it right on the center area where that pencil is, and I think that just adds a really fun foiled touch. So there you go. I love all the foiling. It makes it look like you spent a lot of time on this, and really it was just a few minutes to add the foil touches to this really adorable card. For the next project, we're going to create a shaker gift card holder. And for this project, we're going to use the iCraft mixed media adhesive to adhere some sequins or shaker elements to the front of the card. This is a great adhesive because it's permanent and it does dry clear. I like the tip that comes with it, but I've also used a Scrap Perfect tip for really, really fine application. I have an 8.5 by 11 card base that I've cut in half, and it's top folding to equal little 4¼ by 5½, and then I have a 4¼ by 5½ pattern paper panel and a die cut large heart that I stitched all around and then restitched to the panel only on the bottom half. That makes the pocket. So the next thing that I die cut was using the Queen & Co. heart shape. I die cut the pattern paper heart and a little border. So I'm going to adhere down the pattern paper heart right on top of my little pocket there. And then I'm going to punch out the foam front. This is double-sided foam. And I'm just going to remove the backing and then lay it down on my heart. You can see I'm flipping it around there, just making sure I have the right side. That's all I was doing. Okay, now to make sure that my shakers move around really well, I'm going to take some EK Success Powder anti-static tool and just run it around the edge of the shaker element. Those shakers tend to have a lot of static, and this is one way to really make sure that they move around inside your shaker element. So the next thing I'm going to do is fill the shaker element with goodies from the Queen & Co. Heartthrob kit. And I have a bunch of little hearts and some red, some pink, and I want tons of goodies in there to really make a lot of sound and move around, and I like the pop of color as well. Once I have the inside of the shaker the way that I want it, I need to grab my acetate piece. It is shaped like a heart as well, and make sure that I can line it up there. Then remove the top protective layer of the foam piece, and then layer your acetate on top, and it will adhere like that. Then I'm going to take that little border, that stitched border that I die cut, and I'm going to use some Therm O Web Memory Runner XL and lay that on top just for a pretty look. I like the way that turns out like that. And then the other thing that I wanted to do here was take some more of the shaker elements that I used inside the shaker and adhere them on the sort of right hand border of the heart. So I'm just pulling out some elements that I think I want to adhere and lining them up in a manner that will look good, I think, on this little card. And I think it's fun to have some of the goodies inside and some outside, and it's kind of a peekaboo sort of look. There's a closer look at what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to take the iCraft mixed media adhesive, and I'm just going to make sure that it is coming out, and it is. And then I'm just going to put a dot down on the project and then put the little shaker element on top. And that's why I really like this Scrap Perfect nozzle, because I'm working with tiny little elements here, and I think it really helps to have that. Then I'm just going to continue along with a couple more of these on the outside here. And you can see that they are double-sided, these Queen & Co. elements, so I don't have to worry about which side I'm on, which is great. And then the last thing is to figure out a sentiment. So I'm using the iCraft Easy Cut adhesive. This is a thin double-sided adhesive. I've made another video where I've shown how you can use these with really delicate die cuts, and I will link to that here. But for this video, we're going to just do a piece of pattern paper, and we're going to adhere it to the Easy Cut adhesive. So I'm just going to pull off the protective layer of the Easy Cut, one side of it, and then I'm going to lay my pattern paper on top. Then I'm going to just trim off the edge there and save the rest of my Easy Cut for another project. And then I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. And once it pops out, I have this die cut, this Love die cut, and I'm just going to try and get it out. I didn't work with scissors, so I'm going to grab my Spellbinders. This is the 4-in-1 tool. This is a great little handy tool to have. And you can see that it popped the die cut right out, and then I can pop out the little interior pieces there. Now I can remove the protective backing, and then I basically have a pattern paper sticker that I just need to figure out exactly where I want it on my card. I didn't want it up there because of the gift card that I was going to put in, and I just couldn't really figure out where I wanted it. But finally I decided to go right over the little shaker, which I think is kind of fun too, to have some elements in front of the shaker and then to have the shaker elements inside moving around. So then all you have to do is press down and it adheres, which I think makes a applying die cut sentiments so easy and fun. The next and last step is just to use some Memory Runner XL to put the whole card panel onto the card base. And if you have a little strip of white cardstock there, just trim it off. So the third and final project that I have here is a tiny little chocolate box. Now I cut this out, all the pieces, with my Cameo, and I'm using some Therm O Web Memory Runner XL to adhere everything together. And it's just a bunch of tiny little pieces that you just need to figure out how they all work together. And I should have put adhesive on the bottom of the triangle, but I didn't, so I put it on the heart instead. It all worked out fine. I recommend figuring out what needs adhesive before you put it together, not doing what I just did. So now these are individual little containers. This is going to hold several pieces of chocolate. So they're just little triangles, and I'm just, again, using this Memory Runner to apply adhesive to the tab and then fold it and close it up, and then you can see the box kind of coming together like that. And so I have, I think, one more piece, and this is really quick and easy. You just die cut it with your Cameo, glue it together with some Memory Runner XL, and add a couple of little pieces of chocolate, and I think that's a fun gift, because who doesn't want chocolate? So I decided that I wanted this box to match the rest of the projects. So I pulled out the Queen & Co. pattern paper again. I'm going to layer it over the cardstock that I cut. I think the cardstock is nice and thick, so it adds sturdiness to the box, but I really wanted the patterns to kind of match with the other two, the card and the little pencil holder. So I'm just, again, using some Memory Runner, and I was smart this time, and I figured out which triangles needed the adhesive before I put it all together. And so now I'm just folding it up, and then I'm just going to lay it down on that scalloped heart, and this is the lid of the box. So it really does make sense once you start folding it all together. I was just checking there to make sure that it would fit on, and it does. So there you go. And now I'm putting in a couple of Hershey's Kisses. I probably could have used smaller chocolate here because this was the small size box. So either make the bigger box if you're going to use Kisses, or find something smaller than Kisses, but I did make them fit. And then I decided again that I needed some foil for this. So I die cut another sentiment out of foam adhesive. I decided I was going to do the pattern paper, but I really like the foam adhesive because it adds dimension too. This time I feel like the bottom is sturdy enough that I removed the backing, and now I'm removing the front and putting the foil on top. So, there's a couple of ways you can always do this. And there you go. And that was really quick to put together. It's foiled, it looks fun, and it's got chocolate inside. So this was 3 different Valentine's gifts that you can make if you have the arsenal of iCraft adhesives at your side. Thanks so much for stopping by.